Mihi Bassett survived a suicide attempt in Auckland Women's Prison and lived through conditions the judge described as a concerted effort by corrections to break her spirit. If that was their aim, they failed, and today Mihi Bassett got the chance to thank the judge for bringing her treatment to light.
Really just wanted to say thank you for digging into this whole situation, because it was pretty gnarly, and I just feel without your concerns this wouldn't even be happening.
Technically, this was a sentencing. Mihi Bassett was charged with arson after burning prison property in 2019. But what was really on trial was the way Auckland Women's Prison treated her. Justice McNaughton found the prison held Bassett in the pound unlawfully, subjected her to pepper spraying, which went well beyond reasonable force, and made her carry out a humiliating ritual, lying on the ground just to get food.
The measure of a civilised society is how it treats its most vulnerable and disadvantaged citizens. And we judges know from experience that Maori women prisoners are amongst our most vulnerable, disadvantaged and damaged citizens.
The treatment pushed Mihi Bassett to attempt to take her own life in January 2020.
To learn that this serious physical and psychological abuse is occurring in a women's prison is profoundly disturbing. And that it is happening, or that it was happening, here in our own backyard in Manukau, just a few minutes drive from this court, is especially disturbing for a judge who sits here.
Bassett was supported today by her mother, her grandmother and her brother. They say they accept the apology from corrections, but were appalled to find out just how she'd been treated.
It's disgusting to hear that was taking place, and that's something that she was going through. But now that it's all out in the open, hopefully things can change.
To be honest with you, I've got no words, love. I just didn't think that sort of thing here happened in New Zealand. As I keep saying, my daughter's naughty, but she was sentenced to go to prison, not to go to prison to be punished. And so to find out all this stuff was happening to her, yeah. She's healing, and thank goodness she's strong.
The judge decided that no time would be added to Bassett's sentence for the arson charge. He said the fire was lit in protest at the conditions, was quickly extinguished and posed no serious danger to others.
In short, you have suffered enough.
Criminologist Professor Tracy McIntosh said the fact that corrections apologised to Mihi Bassett for the way it treated her in prison was a rare victory and provided real hope for change.
We don't get many of these days in these sorts of places. As someone who constantly looks at decarceration strategies, I recognise that an apology is necessary but not sufficient. It's what we do now that makes the difference.
And corrections will now be forced to make changes. Corrections Minister Kelvin Davis has a new report from the Prison Inspectorate showing serious failings at Auckland Women's Prison. He wants a detailed plan for how the prison will improve its treatment of women inmates and an urgent review of all women's prisons. Mihi Bassett is serving 10 years for her role in a violent home invasion. Corrections said in court that she had been violent or threatened violence to prison staff 65 times and had 42 disciplinary hearings. But the judge saw strong and positive elements in her character too.
You are resilient, you are a survivor. So despite everything that's happened to you in prison, and despite everything that's happened to you in your life before that, and despite the crimes you have committed, underneath all of that, there is a good person. You deserve a better life than this. So when you finish your sentence, look for the good in other people, reconnect with your whānau.
Bassett is now in Arohata Prison in Wellington, which she said was a far safer environment for her than Auckland Women's Prison.
Love you, man. Love you, Dad.
Bassett said she'd now enrolled in prison rehabilitation programs and hoped to be out in 2 years to help look after her nan. For Checkpoint, ko Guy and Espana Tēnei.